I'm here with Leah Williamson. And Leah, when I asked most leading female footballers who their hero was growing up, they mostly name a male player. At the age of 20, you're young enough to have been able to watch women's football on TV. And you've said that Kelly Smith was your hero. Now young girls come up to you and ask for your shirt and your picture. I'm sure you've got male heroes too, but speaking from your own experience, how important is it for young girls to be able to look up to women players like yourself to kind of create a pathway into the game?
I think it's massive. I think, if anything, it's underrated. Girls should be able to look. The reality is, a little girl is not going to make it in men's football. It's not going to happen. So they need a role model that, is actually true to their pathway, like you say. So I think to have women to look up to, it doesn't mean they can't look up to men, but I think it's really important for young girls because it proves that they could be where I'm standing right now. Whereas when, like you say, before my time, when there wasn't women to look up to, girls are looking up to male footballers, but it was never a reality that they would be able to be a footballer. Whereas now it's it's proof that that can happen. So yeah, I think it's really important for young girls to be able to have role models that are women. Yeah.
It's now 3 years since you made your first team debut under Shelley Kerr. I think you came on as an 81st minute substitute in the Champions League match with Arsenal, needing 3 goals to go through. So can you still remember that, and what were your instructions when you went on the pitch?
I think Shelley just, the game wasn't going our way, and over a two-leg fixture, I'd had unofficial debuts in pre-season and minutes. But I obviously didn't do quite enough to make the start that day. So I think she was just sort of giving me a taste of a harsh reality at the time. But just getting me involved, and I didn't really have too many instructions. It was just, I think we needed a little something extra, and bringing on kids can sometimes, I went on with a couple of my academy graduates as well, kind of thing. So maybe she just wanted to switch it up. But it wasn't the best of starts. Let's say that.
And that was your first and so far only involvement in the Women's Champions League, and seeing Chelsea and Man City go through this week, how much of a wrench is it Arsenal's had to watch that, and is getting back into the competition for next season a priority now?
Absolutely. There isn't anything higher on our list. Trophies are great and FA Cups are fantastic, and this club prides itself in having won so many, but Champions League football is what every player wants to play, and we're attracting big names to this club now, but we need to be in that competition to show them off. There's no point, having all these players if we're not on that stage. So it's absolutely number one priority, and obviously we haven't had the best of starts, but that is still top of the list.
Speaking to a top international player, she told me that she sees you as a central defender, but you saw yourself more as a midfielder. I've seen you play all along the back line. When I saw you against Everton, you were playing as a deep line midfielder. Is that your best position, and what do you think your strengths are in that role, and what do you think you need to improve?
I think I really don't know where I will end up, and I've been told as well, that maybe central defender, I could be, I could reach a much higher level if I dedicate myself to that. But I look at players like Steph Houghton, and she was versatile for a long while and played different positions, and it's only helped her, and now that she's cemented her position. So I don't like to get bogged down on it, but I think I have a lot to offer in the midfield just because purely I have the energy and the legs. Obviously I've been playing a sitting role, but when I first joined when I had my first season with Arsenal, I was a box-to-box midfielder and actually quite high up on the pitch. So I think I can do a range of things, and I have qualities that suit me in both, but as a central defender, I just get bored. That's the bottom line of it. So I've never dedicated myself to that position as a kid. So I've always been a midfielder. But against top opposition, the thrill of being a defender and having that pressure that you're the last person before the goalkeeper, I love that. So there's pros and cons to all of it. But the truth is, growing up, I was never going to be a centre half, because when you play for a team like Arsenal, you want to be involved in it. And as a kid, I don't think anybody wants to be a defender, especially not a centre half. So we'll see what happens. But just need to keep improving my game in all aspects, to be honest.
And people who may never have seen you play might still remember you as the player who took that penalty for England under-19s 2 years ago against Norway. At the time, did anyone advise you to let somebody else take the penalty, and did it ever cross your mind? And looking back, is the fame of that moment something that has helped you develop as a player and a person?
I think when I took the penalty and the ref in the first game, where one of our players came into the box, one of the girls turned around, because a retake it's always a bit, do you want to take it again? So one of the girls turned around and said, do you want me to take it? And I was like, no, like this is mine, because I just, I had it in my head. But obviously coming back 5 days later, I don't think there was a question. Like, I got asked if I wanted to do it, and I was never ever going to turn down that opportunity. And I didn't really want to give the pressure to anybody else, because it wasn't nice, it wasn't going to be nice for anybody. But in terms of I had a great breakthrough season my first year at Arsenal, and I won PFA Young Player of the Year that year, but the penalty happened just before it, so it was great. And the attention was crazy. I told my mum not to tell anybody because I didn't want anybody to know, and then it turns out Sky are there, so it's coverage can always be good for the women's game, but I didn't want to just be known for that one thing. And the way I see it was just a penalty and one kick of a ball, and I just had to get the job done. So it's fantastic, and I'll never forget it. And proved a lot to myself and to others in terms of the pressure that it came with. But I don't like to. I basically need to do something else now. Otherwise, that's going to be my only heroic thing in my career. So yeah, I'm waiting for the next big moment to come round.
Following on from that, I was out the Euros watching England, a very old England squad reach a second successive tournament semi-final. You've personally gone through every single age group with England, and so is the national team, with the World Cup 2 years ahead, is the national team now a realistic target for you before 2019?
Definitely. If you'd have asked me 2 years ago before the Euros, I'd have said it was a realistic target then, because I've never set my, I don't like to set a bar. I want to reach all heights and get as far as I can. So it's always been realistic for me. It's just whether or not I can reach that level in time for a coach to pick me. So definitely the World Cup is on the radar, and for every girl in my position, especially my age now. I'm not that young anymore. I am, but in terms of there's a lot of young girls coming up as well that'll also be aspiring to it. So I think that's good. It's good for this country. It's good that we've got people that are coming through and want to be involved. But it's just whether or not I can take myself to that level to be picked for it. So it's a work in progress.
Thank you, Leah, and good luck for the season.
No worries. Thank you very much. Thanks. That was good. No worries.